She is a professor in the Department of Nutrition and director of the Center for Health Promotion and Disease Prevention, a CDC Prevention Research Center. Her research focuses on the design, testing, implementation, and dissemination of innovative clinical and community-based nutrition and physical activity intervention approaches for health promotion in primarily low-income and minority populations. Current projects focus on behavioral economics, school nutrition, the interface between healthy food access and sustainable local food systems, and social entrepreneurship as an approach to addressing public health concerns. Let's welcome Dr. Alice Ammerman.
So as a UNC person following a Duke person, I feel like I should say something about basketball. It would have been more fun last year. But many years ago, as an undergrad at Duke, which I don't always admit to in Chapel Hill, I played on the women's basketball team. That was before anybody really cared about women's basketball. But I have 3 boys who all grew up in Chapel Hill, and they are die-hard Tar Heel fans, so they just say that I played for the ACC. All right, I'm going to talk about social entrepreneurship, health equity, and social justice. So I am the founder of a company that we call Equity Foods, and we make Good Bowls. And this is a locally sourced, healthy, frozen meal with a focus on food equity. We subsidize the meals for people who are food insecure. And they're also really good for the gut biome, right? So disclosure, UNC makes me disclose that I'm the founder. I've put a lot of money into it. I probably will never get any money out, but just so you know. So shared characteristics between social entrepreneurship, social justice. It's kind of like John Lewis's good trouble, good disruption. You know, in the entrepreneurial world, just disruption is a good thing because you can make changes. Economic opportunities, access, collaboration, partnerships, lots of interactions there. So after many years of doing research related to food insecurity, chronic disease prevention, I decided I wanted to do something that was maybe a little bit more of a permanent fix. And some of the problems that I always ran into are historic discrimination against Black farmers, lack of access to healthy food, rural poverty, high rates of diabetes and other chronic diseases, and increasingly we're concerned about food waste. So in my mind, the solution was this product, Good Bowls. Our business partner said you shouldn't name your company after your main product, so we changed the company to name it Equity Foods. So it's, again, a healthy frozen meal. Another arm of research that I do is on the Mediterranean diet, and we've adapted it to the Southeast, so we call it the Med-South diet. Again, locally sourced, we use the grade B or cosmetically challenged produce when we can, which is cheaper and it gives farmers another market. Locally made, we actually work with Weaver Street Market in their food house to make the meals. So the basics of the Mediterranean diet, you've probably read a lot about this. Oil is good for you. We think olive oil. We're not positive that it has to be olive oil. We say use more than you think you should. Don't spray that oil on it. Pour the oil on. Low fat is no longer the focus. We made that mistake for many years, but now we want to do higher, good quality fat. Nuts of any kind are good quality fat, also fish, especially cold water fish like salmon. And then the usual stuff that your grandmother told you, more fruits, vegetables, whole versus refined grains, and limiting sugar. And to me, the secret of good nutrition is roasted vegetables. This gives you both the oil and the vegetables. They taste really good, and your gut microbiome will love it. And it might reduce your stress. You never know. So we use a dual price point approach. Some people call this buy one, give one. Ours is a little variation of that, but it kind of shares the wealth across the gradient. So we have higher end markets, middle markets, and then subsidized markets. So you may know about Tom's shoes, and then Bombas socks. You know, that's another buy one, give one. You buy a pair of shoes, they give a pair to someone in a developing country. I think they've corrected this now, but originally the problem with this was that they were undercutting local shoe salespeople in the developing countries. So we've tried really hard not to do that so that we make sure that we're supporting local farmers and food businesses. So our higher end markets, we sell at all the Weaver Street stores, we do order and delivery, and then some other sources. We're starting to work with UNC Home Hospital. We're trying to improve food on college campuses. On the left is unfortunately UNC promoting this food, this Campbell College. And then the subsidized markets. So I'll tell you more about this study, but we're working in blue-collar work sites. We retrofitted ice cream vending machines. So there's poetic justice there to sell our healthy bowls out of ice cream vending machines. This is an opportunity for return on investment for employers and can be part of a worksite wellness program. We also work with federal food programs like the SNAP program, Medicaid, and then medically tailored meals are becoming a big thing because hospitals are penalized if people are readmitted for certain diagnoses within 30 days. So if they're sent home with healthy food, that might be prevented. We're also working with the Medicaid transformation program, not to be confused with Medicaid expansion. This is a very unique program where we have a waiver in North Carolina for Medicaid dollars to be able to be spent on social determinants of health. So that can be food insecurity, housing, transportation, and other things. We also did a pay it forward program during COVID when the restaurants were really struggling, so we took donations, worked with a restaurant to make the meals, and then donated them to people who are food insecure. Just an example of making the bowls and then one of the community partners. And of course, key to all of this is community partnerships. I think you'll hear more about this from other speakers, but it just really makes things work. Just a few more of our partners. And then this is something that Tom Frieden, former director of CDC, came up with. So we spend, I don't know if there's a pointer here, we spend a lot of our time at the top of the pyramid where there's increasing effort needed and decreasing population impact. What we want to be doing is spending more time here at the bottom, some of the socioeconomic factors in the environment. So that's what we've tried to do with the Good Bowls. So we have a grant from NIH, Small Business Technology Transfer. If any of you are in the entrepreneurial world, this is a way to get funding from federal funders for research and business development. So we call our grant Good Bowls, Empowering Communities to Achieve Good Food Access and Health Equity. So there's phase 1, proof of concept. We're now in phase 2, and this is where we're working in the work sites. So here's where we did a small pilot initially. This is the lunchroom that most of them look like. It's mostly soda and snack machines. The only other option is 2 miles down the road, which is the gas station food. So we put our little vending machine next to the Coke and snack machines, and we charge $4.50. That's kind of money losing for us, but we wanted to test to see if it would work. We did a lot of taste testing. There's a satisfied customer. So this was our early pilot. Then later we've got better packaging and better machines, and we're testing it in a variety of different work sites. One of my former students also does Bluetooth messaging, and so we're going to test using that. So when you get near the vending machine, it'll say, we've got new Good Bowls flavors today. Or if you get near the soda machine, it will say, have you tried ice cold water instead? So we'll see how this works. And then you can click on the message too and get, like, we put all of our ingredients, all of our recipes on the website. Our business friends say, you're giving away your IP. But that's the idea. We want to change people's food. We also have a grant from USDA where we're working closely with farmers to try to identify ways that they can market their grade B or socially or cosmetically challenged food. And also the seasonal excess, like zucchini season, when nobody can, the joke is be sure to lock your back porch because your porch will get filled up with zucchini if you don't. So quickly on challenges. So protecting the social mission while maintaining a viable business is a challenge. We're still pretty dependent on grants, but we hope to become a sustainable business. Balancing an adequate return for local farmers while keeping the prices sustainable, that's a real challenge. accommodating diverse cultural preferences. We do a lot of adaptation for that. Helping others build capacity without losing our own market opportunities, navigating conflict of interest, trying to solve too many problems at once, which is, I'm probably guilty of that, spreading too thin, and then choosing between equity investment versus bootstrapping. So this is just kind of captures this, so I can answer questions now.
Thank you. Questions for Dr. Ammerman? We'll go right here.
Within the variety of flavors that or recipes, do you try to aim to stay within a certain macro window, or does the flavor variety vary in macros?
In what was the last
Macros, like protein, carb, fat
okay.
content?
Well, we followed the Mediterranean diet pretty closely in terms of balancing. So we probably have more good quality fat than many foods do, many frozen meals, and then lots of the whole grains. So we, let's see, I had another thought which I lost. I'll think of that later.
I think we have time for one more question.
Thank you so much. I really loved your presentation and the work you're doing. I have a question about sustainability, not from a business sustainability perspective, but environmental and social. All the packaging and the seasonality of produce, how do you deal with that?
Well, my dream when I started this was that we could just, whatever food was available in season, we'd turn it into meals and then sell them. But there's a lot of food safety regulations. You have to have all the nutrient labeling, so you can't do it quite that much. But you can, with certain seasons, use the foods that are available. Packaging is a challenge. We use sleeves instead of a whole box. That saves a little bit. In order for the bowls to survive being dropped in a vending machine, it has to be, we've tried compostable bowls, but they can't survive that, so we have to use a recyclable plastic bowl. So all ideas are welcome on that.
Thank you, Dr. Ammerman.